as a city, and now with the VA committing to building their $2 billion hospital, I mean, that's a huge win for us. The Cancer Consortium is going to be there. New Orleans Bioinnovation Center is going to be there. And this is a story that I think these people coming to town need to know. It's about collaborative leadership. If you're having a medical convention in New Orleans, wouldn't you want to be where the biggest medical build-out is going to be?
What do these managers look for, when they decide on a city?
Well, it's complicated, and that's what we're saying. We think our story needs to be very broad. They know a lot about our city already, but there are a lot of things that I just don't think they know. There's a lot of bad news out there about New Orleans.
Yes.
We saw some of it just now, but there are a lot of good stories. So my partners are, I have a production company. It's Taya Pagel Productions. It's Joel Culinary Partners, which has 5 different food-related businesses. Robert LeBlanc, who has Lifestyle Revolution Group. He owns Republic and does the bars in the International House and Loft 523. And then Richard Young, who has Event Rental. And we've decided that there's a new breed of entrepreneurs that are developing in New Orleans, and we wanted to put our best face forward and throw a great party. So go ahead.
I'm curious. You said that there's a lot of bad news out there. Just what's the feedback you've gotten from these managers? Are they surprised by anything now that they're here in the city?
They just arrived, so I really haven't had a chance to have that dialogue yet. But what we're doing is we're creating our story. And our strategic partners are the Downtown Development District, Canal Street Medical Corridor, and the Recovery School District. And when you look at what's happening in education here, the entire country's watching us. I mean, we're a model for the future of public education. It's New Orleans and D.C.
And how can you not pick New Orleans?
How can you not? We've got it all. Food, music, and now a new breed of entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Coming in this morning. Watch the traffic on the way out. It's pretty nasty on the I-10.
Today's headlines and hot topics are next.
From WWL-TV, the spirit of Louisiana, this is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness Morning News.
Thousands, actually millions of visitors have dubbed this city as a great boutique city where all the hotels, great restaurants, and the convention center, the Superdome, all kinds of things are all within walking distance. This week, the city is hosting about 3,000 people in town for the Professional Convention Management Association. This group is the group that looks at New Orleans' viability for hosting future conventions. Here with more on the qualities that they're looking for, the president and CEO of the Professional Convention Management Association. Got a long title there. Deborah Sexton, along with Stephen Perry, the president and CEO of the New Orleans Metropolitan Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Taya, is it Pagel?
Pagel.
Pagel of Pagel Productions. Thank you for coming in. First of all, Stephen, I was asking you before we came on camera, there had been some talk that the next couple of years were going to be kind of bad because, number one, the slowdown in the economy, and then conventions had booked years in advance were not booking, but apparently that's turned around a bit.
Well, the economy is affecting every convention destination in the country. But here in New Orleans, we are running a little counter to the rest of the nation. We're up almost 9.5% in our convention and meetings for 2009 over 2008, and that's a great position to be in.
And what do you all look for when you come to a convention town? I mean, everybody wants to have fun, and that's one of the reasons convention cities pick like Vegas or New Orleans or someplace like that, because conventioners do want to come to a place where it's fun and it draws more people.
Well, clearly the convention center is extremely important. However, access in and out of the city, which is very good for New Orleans, culture, the restaurants, all that New Orleans truly has to offer. And New Orleans has always been one of the top 5 convention destinations in the country.
Because, I mean, in all reality, a lot of cities have very good convention centers. It's what you have to do in the time you're off the convention that really draws people to a convention and makes your convention more successful.
Obviously, the destination appeal is absolutely critical to the success of a convention destination. And again, New Orleans is, in my opinion, better than it's ever been.
And a lot of folks, and I'll ask you this, Taya, had kind of written off New Orleans for a while, thinking, maybe they were in too much trouble. They hadn't come back yet. I mean, the perception around the country was we were still underwater by a lot of people. I mean, it's just so different now.
Well, and that's one of the things we're doing with the event that we're throwing. for PCMA attendees, but also for a lot of locals who are here. And it's about collaborative leadership. I mean, we have the VA hospital that just announced that they're building, and it's a $2 billion build-out, and that's going to be anchoring Canal Street with the Canal Street Medical Corridor. There's the Cancer Consortium, the New Orleans Bioinnovation Center, and we really think that the medical conventions should be interested in coming here because we're going to be one of the biggest build-outs, and there should be some dialogue happening back and forth. They're one of our partners for our party that we're doing, as well as the Recovery School District. So we think anyone in the education sector who's planning an association should be really interested in what New Orleans is doing right now.
And Stephen, what's the biggest thing you guys sell when especially when a group like this comes, because they're the ones who plan conventions way down the road? I mean, what do you sell? The fun, the convention center, or the everything?
Eric, you don't have to sell the fun, and you don't have to sell Bourbon Street. We never even mention it. You know what we sell? This is the most culturally rich, distinctive, authentic city in America. It's an historic place where the proximity of all of the assets that we offer are such that we have 20,000 hotel rooms in a 16-minute walk of the convention center and the Superdome, the finest restaurant community in the United States, and a place that's so distinctive and things are so proximate to each other that when you walk out, I mean, you have lower shuttle costs here for convention planners. People don't have to get in cabs and go across town.
Yeah.
But things here are real. It's not a contrived, artificial place. It's real culture.
And what do you all look for when you come to a town like this? And I got to tell you, it's been in the news a lot lately. When you see a cleaned-up French Quarter, that's got to make a big difference.
Oh, it makes a huge difference to our attendees. It's amazing to me how many have not been back to New Orleans in the last 5 to even 8 to 10 years, and the remarks I'm hearing of our members is just terrific. They're thrilled with how the city looks. They know that you have a wonderful hotel community, but it's the culture, the restaurants, the international flavor. The convention center's done a marvelous job.
And so we're out of time, but I mean, when you have these 3,000 delegates down here, they represent all kinds of different conventions, or how does that work?
It's billions of dollars worth of business. Our members host a minimum average of 30 meetings a year, of which the size of their general conventions are somewhere in the area of 3,000 to 4,000 rooms.
All right.
Eric, one quick final piece. New Orleans hospitality industry produces 30% of the operating budget of this city year in and year out. This is the most lucrative part of that industry. This 4 or 5 days is going to set up the economy of New Orleans for the next 5 to 7 years.
And I'll tell you what, New Orleanians are also always nice to people. If you guys could wear little tags, we'll be super nice. Sure. All right, we'll be back with morning traffic and Frank short ribs. You might want to stay around for that. This is worth it. This can make a couple of conventions come to town. We have a short rib casserole coming up. Stay right there.
Live from WVUE TV New Orleans. This is your weather authority. Fox 8 News at 9. You're watching Fox 8 News.
Tourism leaders hope the city enjoys a huge payoff from a 3-day event that wrapped up tonight.
The Big City Roller Girls were part of a farewell party in the Warehouse District. It was a send-off for members of the Professional Convention Management Association who came here from all over the country for their own annual gathering. This is a group that advises other groups on where to hold their meetings and conventions. Members gave the city glowing reviews and say that they'll strongly recommend New Orleans as a top convention destination in 2009 and beyond.
So I think the service portion of this city has always shined. One of the things, there are a lot of cities that you compete with, including my own hometown of Atlanta, as well as Las Vegas, Chicago, New York. But the people of New Orleans and the spirit of New Orleans have always outshined every other city. And I've seen that more than ever in this last 3 or 4 days that I've been here.
Jan Kuttenauer is with Total Event Productions based in Atlanta. She says that another reason many groups favor New Orleans as a convention host city is because visitors want to volunteer in efforts to help with the recovery.